Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on October the 29th in the year of our Lord 2025. Got some great information for you tonight, so let's just go ahead and jump right over here to Murtech on Rumble. This is the video that you're watching. It says upcoming, but as you know, you're actually watching it. My episode 1730. Let's jump into this and close out the live chat. Debbie BS has joined us already. Okay, let me slide down here and click the show more button to expand the description box out. We have information from Awaken with JP, his news update, Adogg, Devory Darkins, and Wendy Bell Radio. But before we get into that, I do have some shout outs to give. Judy, 59, just started following my channel. Ticked off Yanzer just started following my channel. Debbie BS reposted my episode 1729. Who's Asking and Susan 080 commented on my episode 1729. Debbie BS commented on my extra 514A, 514B, and 514C. So thank you very much for your comments. And thank you, folks, for following my channel. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. Okay, let me give this a thumbs up. Boom. There we go. And by the way, I have one of those thumbs up icons right here below the video that you're watching. So if you could slide down and give me a thumbs up on that, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, a little lightheartedness, somewhat. Awaken with JP. Shocking NBA Mafia betting scandal. His news update. This is his We Lie to You news segment. So, let's see what he has to say.
An illegal game rigging and betting operation has rocked the National Basketball Activism League. Coming up, we'll have an exclusive interview with the NBA commissioner. Good evening, idiot, and welcome to We Lie to You News. It is truly shocking to learn that a league with heavy ties to the BLM organization, whose founders have embezzled millions of dollars, has corruption in it. And it's unfathomable to think that a league that goes hard for Pride Month could have immoral behavior that's damaging to its reputation. And it's hard to believe that a league that preaches inclusivity, yet is dominated by just one race and includes no gay, trans, or short people representation, could be out of integrity. Yet the reality is the NBA is out of integrity, and we didn't see it coming. It's pretty entertaining. Here's what we know so far. NBA player Terry Rozier and coach Chauncey Billups have been arrested for fixing games and spreads, and there are Italian Mafia ties to the scandal, according to the FBI, who brought them down. Now let's hear more from the FBI.
Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team.
Now, the FBI hasn't released details on exactly how they did it, but there's a pretty good chance they had roughly 274 or so agents embedded in the NBA to help crack the case. And this is obviously deeply discrediting and embarrassing to the NBA. So we appreciate the NBA commissioner for being willing to speak to us directly on the matter. Now, Commissioner, I'm sure this has been a nightmare for you, but let me ask you this first. Have you ever watched a WNBA game? And if so, what was your initial reaction to what you saw?
My initial reaction was I was deeply disturbed.
Yeah, we find that's pretty typical. Now, there's this alleged game-fixing illegal betting scandal going on. Apparently, you were tipped off that the now-arrested Terry Rozier was fixing games years ago, and you and the league did your own investigation into him. Now, what did you find in that investigation that you did?
We frankly couldn't find anything.
Oh, I'm sure you couldn't.
There's nothing more important to the league and its fans than the integrity of the competition.
Sure, Commissioner. We all know that and stand in solidarity with you about the league's commitment to integrity. How has the business relationship been with DraftKings over the years?
It's been spectacular.
I'll bet it has. Now, I'm interested in putting a couple bucks on the game tonight, get a little action on a prop bet. Is there anything you can tell me, anything you think I should know that might help increase my odds a little bit?
I've been hearing from people throughout the league.
What have you been hearing?
Double overtime.
Then that's what I'll put my money on. Thank you for the help, and thank you for taking the time, Commissioner, for this interview. And in other news, now retired astronaut Katy Perry has been getting more rave reviews for her performances as now a singer. And the cat's out of the bag. The former astronaut and former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau are now officially in a lesbian relationship together. And rumor has it that they're expecting their first child. We send our congrats to the happy couple. This just in! According to the memoir of Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre, Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly performed a sex act on George Clooney. And there's a really good chance she's not the only one that has. That's it for today's news. And if you're looking for some good entertainment this week, check out Anne Frank the Musical, where the Holocaust victim is portrayed as a pansexual Latina with a non-binary lover and a neurodiverse family in a riveting New York City musical. Seems like a respectful way to pay tribute. Good night.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that's not far off from some of the stuff that the mainstream media does report. But let's go ahead and click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Awaken with JP. I am following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Alrighty then. Well, let's jump back here and see what the real Adogg has to say. OMG, yes. Trump loses it and to deport Zohran Mamdani back to his country immediately after he did this. All right, let's see what that's all about.
So let's go ahead and dive straight into this. By Nick's source, Justin Representative Adogg just formally asked Attorney General Bundy to revoke Zohran Mamdani's citizenship and deport him back to Uganda. It say Mamdani was openly supporting terror organizations prior to becoming a citizen, making him ineligible. Send him back, and you can see this is right here where he wrote the letter right here, say to the Honorable Pam Bundy, Attorney General, U.S. Department of Justice, and dear Attorney General Bundy. And like I said, this right here just proved that Mamdani needs to be deported immediately. So he's not playing around at all. And you can see right here, say breaking. To get Zohran Mamdani deported, Representative Adogg urges and informs AG Pam Bundy that Mamdani might have committed a federal crime if he did not disclose during naturalization that he praised terrorists and despises the U.S. Constitution and supports the totalitarian democratic socialists of America. Mamdani could very well be made mayor of NYC in less than 2 weeks. We have no time to waste. If we deport Mamdani before for breaking real laws, we can save New York City and take back our country from the Marxists who want to reduce America to a third world wasteland. I 100% agree with Adogg in which Zohran was caught sooner. The fact he's running for mayor does not change the fact he and likely many other foreigners have committed the same offense. Denaturalize Mamdani and do the same for many others. And that's what I said. I did a video yesterday and said this right here is starting to heat up, that it's looking like he will be deported very, very soon. And it seems like it's in the works right now. Every day I'm seeing this stuff. It's heating up. And right here, by Brian Allen said, breaking, Representative Randy Fine has formally moved to begin the denaturalization process against Zohran Mamdani, a sitting U.S. lawmaker and New York City mayor candidate, so he can be deported. This isn't politics anymore. It's open authoritarianism, targeting a Muslim elected official for daring to challenge power. These right here said the Democrat Party has kept going so far left is socialism. Zohran Kwame Mamdani from Uganda, Africa, is an anti-Semitic socialist. He is anti-police and is against law-abiding citizens having guns to protect themselves. Our Second Amendment. He must be deported. This is treason. And this right here is what you see. Universal free childcare, free buses for all, city-run grocery stores, no-cost childcare, new anti-police safety department, creating an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs. Then we go right here, say breaking Zohran Mamdani is reportedly in deep trouble over serious irregularities in his citizenship paperwork, meaning he could soon be denaturalized and deported back to Uganda. This is the same guy who built his entire career bashing America and everything it stands for. That's exactly what he's been doing. Now, check out this right here.
U.S. citizenship. Congressman Andy Ogles has said that this man should be deported. And he actually joins us now from a actual moving car. That's a busy politician right there. Congressman, good to have you on. You say Mamdani should be, you have a letter to Attorney General Mamdani demanding an investigation into whether Mamdani should be subject to denaturalization proceedings on the grounds that he may have procured U.S. citizenship through willful misrepresentation or concealment of material support for terrorism. Give us your claim here, sir.
Well, so part of the process when you fill out the naturalization forms, which, here's a copy of one here, is you've got to disclose your activities. So like communism, anti-American activities. And so in 2018, when he was naturalized, he failed to disclose some of the things that he had been doing, one of which was joining the Democrat Socialists of America. That's a communist organization, which quite frankly, at that time, would have disqualified him from becoming a United States citizen. So what we're encouraging to do is the Justice Department to look into the timing of his joining that organization. It would have been anti-American. It would have fit the definition of what he would have been required to disclose, and quite frankly, would have made him most likely ineligible to become a naturalized citizen. So if that's true, then the process could begin of him being denaturalized. Now, that being said, even if we can't prove or dot the I's and cross the T's and get this guy on this and create the template for these other individuals who come to this country, they're sleeper cells, they want to undermine our way of life, they want to take advantage of our generosity. Enough is enough. Look, I'm a proud American. I love my country, love my flag, I love my God, and I love my family. And I'm tired of us being taken advantage of by the rest of the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something to see this. We've gotten so complacent with the threat of what this ideology can bring to this country, and it really is scary how it's just celebrated in the streets now. It used to not be that way. Congressman,
Look, the Mamdani thing is it's a disaster waiting to happen. We can't have a communist in charge of a great, supposedly free enterprise, kind of a representative city. So I think it's, if you have a communist mayor, I think it's going to be very tough for him and for the city.
Should have put something like this so close to the election?
Oh, I think it's a shame that that particular man is endorsing him and very friendly with him. You can see there's a relationship. He blew up the World Trade Center, right?
And Mr. President,
didn't the man you're talking about blow up the World Trade Center? And he's friends with Mamdani?
Mr. President, sticking with your safety, you've talked about Hudson River Tunnel.
Nobody's going to explain there might be some dark, deep psychological reason where they want to vote the opposite way. I don't know what it is, but we have to win the midterms. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done, so many of them are going to be taken away by the radical left lunatics. I mean, we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. Can you believe it? A communist. Remember, I would always say, we will not have a socialist elected in our country. Remember, I'd say that all the time. And I was right. We skipped socialist. We got a communist elected. So I didn't tell a lie. I didn't tell a lie. I was right. We'll have a communist, not a socialist. But we've already seen the impacts of the dangerous game that they're playing. Democrats are causing delays in our air traffic control.
So, I mean, y'all let me know, what do y'all think about that? So, like I said, it's starting to heat up, and now he gets the letter to Pam Bundy. Then, like I said, we already heard what President Trump said about him. Numerous of times, he don't support him. He know his ways. He know exactly what he's trying to do and stuff like that. So, let's move this on just for a second, y'all. Now, I wanted to show y'all this because it said just then, Brooke Rollins pummels Letitia James and Democrats, states who just launched a lawsuit over a lapse in SNAP funding, which is running out because they shut the government down. So now you got Letitia James want to try to sue President Trump over SNAP funding when the government, when you got Hakeem Jeffries and you got Chuck Schumer Chuck Schumer, the man who put cheese on a raw hamburger patty, talking about suing President Trump when they the one shut down the government, when they admitted that they using this as leverage against the Republican, because it's the only leverage they have. That's what this woman said.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leverage times we have.
So check this out right here.
100% unequivocally, USDA does not have the $9.2 billion that it would require. There's not just pots of $9.2 billion sitting around. And what's particularly rich about New York saying that, or California, or any of these other blue states that have filed the lawsuit that say, oh no, we're going to go, you guys, USDA, go find the money, is it's their very friends, partners, colleagues, Democrat elected officials that continue to vote over and over again to keep the government closed. Again, shame on them. I cannot begin to understand what they're thinking. Even their own union, right? Even their own federal government employee union, I don't know the exact name, is urging their own Democratic leaders to open the government back up. Listen, Chuck Schumer's getting paid. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is getting paid.
And see, and that's the thing. That's the only thing the Democrats care about. Like Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, all of these people is getting paid. That's the reason why they can care less that they shut the government down, because they still getting their paychecks.
But our air traffic controllers not getting paid. Our food stamp recipients are not going to get their benefit beginning Saturday. Our law enforcement, those that are keeping us safe, not getting paid. It's just, it's unbelievable. And I've never seen anything like this. It's surely they're going to change their mind and vote to open any day now.
Yeah, and like I said, they just making it worse and worse and worse. Look at this, just in absolutely pathetic development as Democrat states led by Letitia James sue President Trump to block him from cutting SNAP funds. And they say funds only lapsing because Democrats shut down the government. You can't make this crap up. Vote to defund SNAP. Refuse 13 times to fund SNAP by not opening the government. Sue the people you blocked from dispersing SNAP funds. You yourself blocked. They're failing, and the Democrat approval rating is plummeting. Trump will win. And that's exactly right. We all know that for the fact that President Trump is going to win. So Letitia James is just, this woman is just crazy, man. This woman is crazy, ain't got no sense at all. She's already in trouble for mortgage fraud, and the last thing she worried about trying to sue President Trump over something that her party is doing. Holy crap, CNN just shocked out the learning Republican approval rating skyrockets during Chuck Schumer shutdown. Brutal. So they really thought this right here was going to hurt President Trump, when the American people know for a fact this is not President Trump's fault. It's the Democrats. They are the one that keep voting to keep it shutting down because they want President Trump to get on $1.5 trillion in free healthcare for illegal aliens. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And President Trump is still winning.
It hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, an electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
Exactly. So like I said, though, the Republican approval rating is still going up, and they think this right here was going to, hurt the Republicans. So if you check this out, look at this. Breaking for the 13th time. Senate Democrat just refused to pay the troops and reopen the government. It was 3 hours ago. So again, they refused to pay the troops and reopen the government, continuing to use American families as leverage. Look at this. The clean CR put forward by Republicans was blocked again by Chuck Schumer. Needs 60 votes. I hope Chuck realizes the damage he's doing to the county and the Democrat brand. He's already lost the nation's largest union of federal workers representing 800K people and many Democrats. He's digging his hole deeper daily at this point. President Trump, Speaker Johnson, and Lena Thune would not cave ever. Just absolutely crazy. This is what they doing again for the.
Get it. Okay, I'm sorry about the delay there, folks, but let's go ahead and move on. It's just amazing to me how the Democrats just keep on and on and on. Everything they do, it seems to backfire on them. I don't understand. It seems like they're trying to destroy themselves. I don't think they could try any harder to destroy themselves. All right, let me show you here that this information does come from the real Adogg. I've given him a thumbs up. I am subscribed to his channel. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okie dokie, let's jump back here and move on down to see what Devory Darkins says about official drops bombshell. Let me get the screen up for you again. It just kind of clicked off there. Okay, Devory Darkins, official drop bombshell regarding SNAP benefits as Democrats make shocking admission. Okay, well, let's see what that's all about.
There is new pressure tonight for congressional Democrats to end the government shutdown, which is nearing the end of its fourth full week. And it's coming from within the Democratic base. Here's senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram.
Day 27.
I think we're in the same place today as we were last week.
Of the government shutdown.
It sucks where we are right now.
But a major break in the Democratic coalition. The head of the union, representing more than half of all federal workers, demands Democrats accept the GOP's interim spending bill. Union leader Everett Kelly says, quote, put every single federal worker back on the job with full back pay today. Republicans embracing the shift.
They understand the reality of this.
The administration shuffling money to keep things afloat.
But ultimately, it starts to run out of funds and run up against the bounds of law, and there's really nothing more they can do.
Democrats say President Trump is AWOL and should broker a deal.
Trump's message to the American people facing financial disaster is greetings from Malaysia. The president should stop focusing on.
This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. This is in the Senate. Okay? He might be able to make some suggestions, might be able to talk a little bit here and there. But the president, three branches of government, equal but separate. The president has no business actually going into the Senate and telling them what to do. If it was any other situation, in fact, if he did do that, this guy right here, this cork biter, would be bitching that the president is trying to overstep his boundaries because it's three separate. Judicial, which is the Senate and the House, legislation, and executive and judicial. Okay? So the legislation, executive, and judicial. And Trump is really not supposed to go in and meddle with what's going on in the Senate. He has nothing to do with this until this bill gets through the Senate. And until it does, his hands are tied. Okay, so this guy, believe it or not, is actually lying to you. Yeah, I know that might be hard to believe, but yes, Chuck Schumer is actually lying to you because President Trump actually should not be able to influence the Senate.
Foreign escapades on ballrooms, on bailouts for Argentina.
So we pick up where we left off earlier today, and we have more, I guess I would call it meltdowns and now protests in regards to food stamps potentially being canceled if they do not get the government back open by November 1st. Now, where I want to start to begin this is a couple of clips here of people raging against the federal government, claiming they're not going to be able to provide for their family because they've run out of food stamps. And I think it's smart for us to continue to address this issue. Let's start with this one.
Out for the single mothers that got kids. Now, what can we do? We can't to feed our kids. Let alone if we do have jobs, again, what can we do? Because that was helping us.
Outrage and uncertainty, two things many Memphians who have depended on SNAP, like Cornisha, are feeling as the benefits are set to freeze. The Tennessee Department of Human Services confirmed this will be the case on their website if the government shutdown continues.
I already know how I feel about people who are on food stamps. There are a small selection of people who absolutely need it right now. They've fallen on hard times. They got to dig themselves out of there. And then there are people who are abusing the system, like they're selling them, they're depending on them, they haven't done anything to change their situation. Those are the people that get me upset. Now, you guys want me to really blow your mind? That's not really the problem here, folks. The problem is how many people are receiving SNAP benefits who are not American citizens. Listen to this.
There are 42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps, 42% of Somali immigrants, 34% of every immigrant from Iraq, 23% of Haitians, 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans. Think about that. And we didn't know about any of this before the government shutdown started, but thanks to Democrats, we can confirm tonight that millions of Joe Biden illegal aliens, people who crossed the border when Joe was president, are now collecting food stamps from a program funded by hardworking American taxpayers.
Yeah, I wasn't actually aware of that either, but it's now become, I think, really a bombshell. Listen, we talked about it earlier. American citizens who are selling SNAP benefits, American citizens who are depending on SNAP benefits, but not in the way where they're seeking to get off of it. These are people who have been on it for a decade now. And then you have people who are literally trying to climb themselves out of a tough situation. I'm not talking about those people. The real problem that has come to my attention after looking into this whole SNAP situation is what you see here on the screen. Look at this. The yellow color is American citizens. The blue color is illegal immigrants. The orange color is illegal aliens. Look at this. Food. 48% of illegal aliens are receiving SNAP benefits. Are you kidding me? Why are we paying SNAP benefits to illegal aliens? Can someone please explain that? I think that is the actual story. But again, I have another one to show you here, an American citizen who is now threatening grocery stores. So SNAP benefits runs out, she expects the grocery stores to fit the bill. Take a listen.
Okay, before we get into this, I want to go over again. I've talked about this before. But the reason these people are illegal aliens is because they've come to into the country and they haven't been vetted. Okay? When you come to this country to live, and in fact, in most cases, if you were to try to go to another country to live, you have to pass through a process. One, do you have a criminal background? Okay, if you do, which a lot of these illegal aliens do, you're not allowed to come into this country. Two, how are you going to support yourself and your family if you have one? Do you have a job here? Okay, is that going to pay you enough to pay for your rent, your housing, your food, any other needs that you might have? Okay, well, if you can't support yourself, then why are you coming into our country expecting us to support you? So that's another criteria that if you don't meet, you're not allowed to come into this country and live. That's why these people are illegal. Did you see these numbers? Look at these numbers. He said the yellow are U.S.-born headed households. The blue are legal immigration households. And the orange is illegal. So both of them are higher than U.S.-born people on these assistance programs. Utterly amazing. If you can't afford to take care of yourself and or your family, you need to go back where you came and not be able to afford it there. Because we, as the tax-paying U.S. citizens, cannot afford to take care of the world. Sorry.
This is a message to the grocery stores that earn profit from those that are on SNAP and food stamps. And I'm talking about in the New England area. Shaw's, Stop and Shop, Aldi's, Market Basket, Zebra, even Walmart. It's time for you to give back to your community. Stop asking consumers for donations, because I know that's what you're going to do on November 1st, okay? You have made billions of dollars off of families that are either actually paying or that are on SNAP and food stamps. So it is time for you to give back to the community. You can create a little designated area. You can, in your little area where you have your deliveries for people that are picking up items, you can make a little space where you ask them a few questions and you give. You have boxes of food to give away. It should not weigh in and compress on food pantries because they're limited. So that's just my way in.
Or maybe the Democrats can go ahead and pass the continuing resolution so all these giveaway programs can begin again. Maybe that's the thing that should happen, rather than private companies giving stuff away because the Democrats aren't doing their freaking job. Did you ever think about that? Probably not.
Y'all be well and stop again asking consumers for donations. The accountability should rely on you.
All right, this is just crazy. Because you know what frustrates me the most? It's when these insurance companies continue to lowball everyday Americans when they have a serious accident. What am I talking about? They're paying. Okay, that's number one. Number two belongs to the individual themselves. Okay, that's number one. Number two, asking the grocery stores to foot the bill regarding groceries. Okay, at the end of the day, who's paying for it all? It's still the taxpayer. Okay, you think that these grocery stores are making all this money off SNAP? Listen, the taxpayers are the ones still footing the bill at the end of the day, regardless. And three, instead of saying, hey, you know what? Why don't I figure a way out to work with the grocery store? Let me go down there and set up a program with them. You make this video talking about it's something that they should automatically do. They don't have to do that. That's a for-profit business. They don't have to do anything. They don't owe the community anything. Okay? That's just the way that I see it. Now, I think this whole SNAP benefit thing is really going to blow up in Democrats' face. This is why I'm talking about it here to start off. Andrew Yang was on CNN. We know he's an independent. And even he is warning that this is about to be a cluster F for Democrats. Take a listen.
Now, I'm just curious. Obviously, Democrats say, this is about health care. But nonetheless, Republicans have forced this vote against a quote-unquote clean, I'm not going to get into the rhetoric we're going to use, but a bill which would provide some things, including SNAP, and put health care aside, and they have refused to vote on it. So this voting 12 times to not fund food stamps is actually true. Is this an inflection point for Democrats?
It really should be, Aaron. The fact is 42 million Americans are on SNAP, and they're getting messages saying they're not going to get their usual stipend at the beginning of the month. So you have a lot of food insecure
Which is Saturday,
households.
right? This
Which
is
is Saturday. And so we're approaching the holidays. If you are getting that message, you're looking up saying, what the heck is going on? And you don't care whether it's Democrats or Republicans to blame. You just are trying to put food on the table. So I pray that common sense prevails and they come to a resolution and restore SNAP, because 42 million Americans heading into the holidays without food is unconscionable for both sides.
Not to mention 500,000 just New York City kids.
Yeah.
Okay, just in this town, we could open the door from our studio, walk out, and probably meet a kid on SNAP, because 500,000 kids in New York City are on this program and count on this program.
So you're telling me you're willing to keep the government closed? You're willing for 42 million Americans not to receive the money that they require to put food on the table for ACA subsidies? That's not going to work. Yes, Democrats have a leverage when it comes to healthcare. Most Americans trust Democrats over Republicans in that area. But when you're talking about healthcare versus food on the table, that's an entirely different conversation. And that's one they will lose every single time because it impacts someone right now. And again, if you're out there and you're on SNAP benefits, I'm not demonizing you. I hope that you get off of it as quickly as possible, that you get yourself in a better financial position, but you got to make a commitment to do it. Don't be like these people you're seeing in the videos thinking that they're not the problem, that it's the government's problem. You guys following what I'm saying? Now, here is Andrew Yang, where he tells the brutal truth about all of this. Take a listen.
Saying the well has run dry is really disingenuous. That's like a banker saying, I can't give you your money because the bank is closed. We'll open the bank. You could open these reserves. The well is not dry. The money's in there. You just won't open the government for myriad reasons.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If I'm the Dems, I'm like, look, we've taken a stand, but we're not going to let families starve. Chuck Schumer in March kept the government open for this very reason. And then he took a blasting from the base of his party that he had to show fight. But this is not the fight, because you have millions and millions of Americans who are on the edge right now. And everyone at home knows what I'm talking about. You're on the edge right now, and a lot of them are getting pushed off the precipice by the shutdown.
Veterans, kids, I mean, it's all
Air
kinds of people.
traffic controllers, you name it.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay. All right. I just want to credit Andrew Yang for speaking the truth on this issue. But I will tell you this, and this is the bottom line to it. If the Democrats do not change course and the SNAP benefits run out on November 1st, this country could change in a heartbeat. And I'm talking riot in the streets. I'm talking an implosion of the Democrat Party as we know it. I mean, it could go either way. It's not going to be something that is pretty, because you're talking about people who depend on food. Again, I don't think people should be in that position. I'm talking about 42 million people shouldn't be in that position, but especially illegal aliens. However, this is where we find ourselves at as a country. Okay.
Okay. So I did want to share that with you. I'm going to move on now, but let me remind you that this video does come from Devory Darkins. I am subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here and let's share some information from Wendy Bell Radio. Burning down the house. That's certainly what the Democrats are trying to do, I believe. So let's see what she has to say.
You know, it's tough being a Californian.
Now, so this is right after, we're like 9 minutes into this, right after she does her Pledge of Allegiance.
To tell you, and I know I tick off a lot of people in that beautiful state from where I hail, who do not like it when I say, hey, you get the government that you vote for. You get the people who you allowed to cheat and to win. Does that say that everybody who runs for office cheats? No, of course not. But does it happen a lot? Absolutely. Are we stupid to not have a reasonable conversation about that? For sure. And it's always the people who are pushing back against voter ID, same-day elections, paper ballots, you know, election results by your 10 or 11 o'clock news. Remember those good old days, right? The people who push back against that are the ones who are doing the cheating. It's obvious. I mean, they have to think that you're stupid to not understand. You know, it's very interesting what's going on in California, because it is a microcosm of where this country could be if we had not elected Donald Trump. If Donald Trump hadn't put his hand on the Bible on January 20th of this year, after bringing in an executive branch of vice presidents, the greatest, like, active, focused, intelligent, worthy people to be on his team, to go out in America and to identify all of the garbage that has been done so poorly, come up with a game plan to change it, flip the script, and put out something better that actually benefits this country before the 4 years is up. It's a big task. And they're doing really, really well after not even 10 short months. But I want to focus on California because California is what happens to a country, which could happen if you're not in charge with, your elections. You're not on top of what's going on. So Gavin Newsom's super upset that Donald Trump is adding a new structure next to the White House. This does not destroy the White House. This does not change the facade or anything of the White House. It essentially is a new building that is going to replace the way in which the public used to enter to take tours, to look at some of the rooms that are more museum quality. Yes, this new ballroom funded by Trump and friends and other people, whether or not they think it's going to have them curry favor from the president or not, it's going to be paid for, right? Over here in California, have you guys paid any attention to what's going on at the Capitol there? Because I really haven't, and I think this is curious because for more than half of a decade, advocates of the state capitol in Sacramento have sounded the alarm about the $1.1 billion Capitol Annex project. This is more than we're going to spruce up something that's falling apart, right? It's more than taking a look at an historic structure and being like, you know what? We kind of need to make this more ADA compliant. We got to fix the plumbing. We got some high-tech stuff we can put in. Security kind of sucks. A couple of those steps are crumbling. Let's re-pour some of that. You know what? That marble over there inside, that looks chipped. We're going to tidy that up. This is a whole... We're going to reimagine the state capitol complex. And in addition to that, we're going to blow up some West Steps, which are like iconic for folks in California. This is where, Ronald Reagan has addressed people. This is where people have their grievances heard, where they have rallies. And according to the people behind this Capitol Annex renovation project, it's all about, we're going to blow it up and we're going to start from scratch. In addition to that, there happens to be an historic Capitol Park with magnificent trees that abut this project at the California Capitol. And this plan calls to basically demolish a lot of this historic landmark. So as Californians are being affected by what has become the rampant secrecy, the non-disclosure agreements, the massive cost overruns. Guys, this started as a $500 million reno. It is now a full-blown $1.1 billion project that's costing nearly as much as your typical brand new NFL stadium. What in the Sam Hill is going on? Well, if you're a Californian and you're paying for it, you don't know. Why? Because the lawmakers there aren't being honest. For instance, we know the new Capitol Annex is going to be wider, it's going to be longer, it's going to be taller than the historic building it replaces, despite commitments to follow very specific guidelines for historic properties, of which this building is one. The annex's glass exterior, it's going to clash with the original white plaster Capitol, visibly overpowering the 1860s landmark. Forget that, says the state legislature. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to have no bid contracts. We're going to have to keep upping the cost. We're going to have to keep delaying the end of the project. And all of this is shrouded in this ridiculous secrecy that has involved the California legislature passing 2 new laws to prevent the public from knowing anything about it. Like, what's that besides a giant grift? And isn't it all so rich that as the California taxpayer is getting bent over to the tune of $1 billion Now, which will be obviously far more coming down the road, you've got the White House project, funded privately, does not destroy or damage the existing historic structure of the White House, built in 1800, right? And you've got this wild dichotomy here. You've got an hypocrisy, the likes of which only the Democrats can wrestle in and claim as their own. This is the moment where the California folks who pay the bills see what's going on, and where public concern is now catching up with the secrecy. And they're saying, no, not one more penny. We've seen how your light rail project from north to south in the state became some little rinky-dink metro rail link that's like 7 miles long now. We want oversight. Democrats aren't used to giving oversight, rather providing it to others. They're not used to being questioned. They're not used to being asked anything. They're not used to accountability. They're not used to showing their work. They're not used to any of this pushback. And I found it very curious that when a reporter in a press conference asked Gavin Newsom, you know what, we have asked multiple times. We've gone to freaking court to try to get you guys to cough up the details about what's actually going on. Who's doing the work? Where's the money going from? Where's the money going? Who's profiting from this? You haven't answered any of our questions. What do you say about that, Mr. Governor? And he was not pleased. This is all happening, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is coming out about 2020. The truth has come out about COVID. The truth has come out about January 6th. And the truth is punishing to the people who most need you in the dark. See, when the majority of the country is awake and aware and engaged and annoyed, the good old playbook doesn't work anymore. And that is what your Democratic Party is realizing, as we are now 2 days away from 42 million Americans not getting food. Okay? So you're going to hear a lot of finger pointing. You're going to hear blame game. You're going to hear people twisting themselves in knots. But let's begin today's program with one essential fact. None of this government shutdown garbage ever needed to happen had the Democrats simply agreed to the continuing resolution that would have allowed the government to function under its present iteration for 7 weeks. You are the yo-yo of the Democrats. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and move it ahead here. And, you know, I would not be surprised if the overspending on the Capitol building in California and the delays, I wouldn't be surprised if that won't be blamed on Donald Trump. I will be shocked, in fact. Here we go.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. We have the benefit on this show of having all day yesterday to kind of chew over this monster blockbuster final report from James Comer at House Oversight. It dropped right before our show, so it was hard for us to kind of work it in any reasonable and educated fashion. But we've had the opportunity to pay attention to what this committee has been able to glean. 47 hours of transcripts and testimony revealing that numerous executive actions under Joe Biden's presidency were signed by the auto pen, and they were done without written authorization from Joe Biden himself, rendering them potentially invalid. And miraculously, Biden's inner circle was able to manipulate his presidency, control his schedule. They used the auto pen to hide his decline while advancing policies he may never have even approved. And President Trump has said so. He's like, Joe Biden wasn't down ever with an open border. If you paid attention to anything that he said as he was senator, it was about closing the border. It was about cutting back on crime. It was about the scourge of drugs in this country, right? And while maybe his ideas would have evolved over time, I don't think a wholesale welcome into every miscreant around the world was on Joe Biden's agenda. House Oversight didn't just drop the report, 90-odd pages, and it's in our links here on the locals page, Wendy Bell Radio. But I will tell you, they've also dropped a 9-minute video. I want you to hear the first several minutes of it. This means business. And if the Democrats aren't afraid of the shutdown coming back to bite them in the butt, they damn well better be afraid of the goods that now sit in Pam Bondi's hands.
Was the number one issue in the campaign the president's fitness or his age? Did you ever see President Biden in a wheelchair?
I do not recall ever seeing President Biden in a wheelchair.
And new information now on the people in his inner circle and how the cover-up actually operated.
Senior aides that worked here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your advice to the president?
I don't believe that.
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official word from Biden world about all these news stories is that nothing has been revealed this week that shows that President Biden was anything but an effective president.
Yes, I noticed that he was aging in terms of his physical condition. I noticed.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to back this up here. Okay, this guy, former senior advisor to the president. Okay? What do you say?
I don't believe
that the president role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
Just a little bit short of $4 million. He's the former advisor, senior advisor to the president. Okay, now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the president's salary is $400,000 a year. Over 4 years, that would be $1.6 million. And this advisor, so the president himself, over a 4-year period, his salary would be $1.6 million. And this guy is just a bit short of $4 million to be an advisor to the president. How does that work? I believe I'm going to apply for that job. I wouldn't mind having a job for, 4 years and be paid a little bit short of $4 million. It sounds like a hell of a gig to me. Okay? I'm sorry I had to jump in here with that, but I want you to just step back and think about this. It'd be interesting to know what Donald Trump's senior advisor to the president is being paid. I'd really like to know that. I might have to try to look that up.
That nothing
said, he shuffled more.
That he has more stumbling over words and gaffes than he did, at the beginning of the term.
His rhetorical skills were not as strong as they had been, and his speeches were less effective, I thought.
We talked about age. We knew it was an issue, and we tried to design a strategy.
We had a discussion at the senior advisor level about whether the president should have a cognitive exam.
Flashback now to the legacy media's complete denial of the president's cognitive decline.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline.
And I hadn't.
He is just fine. How people interpret that is up to them.
We're watching the testimony of this woman here, Annie Tomasini. She's the former senior advisor to President Joe Biden. She was the third person set to appear before James Comer's committee. She has now taken the fifth. There is now a pattern of key Biden confidants seeking to shield themselves from criminal liability for this potential conspiracy.
Were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
The advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Dr. O'Connor has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Dr. O'Connor, did you ever believe the president was unfit to execute his duties as president?
And we can tell you that he will have the same answer with respect to any questions that are asked.
Did any unelected official or family member of President Joe Biden execute the duties of the presidency? Did Joe Biden, a member of his family, or anyone at the White House ever instruct you to lie regarding his health?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
And if that wasn't shocking enough, Jake Tapper claims Hunter Biden was basically acting like the chief of staff.
Hunter was driving the decision making for the family. He was almost like a chief of staff.
Did you notice an uptick ever when Hunter Biden was around? Yes. Towards the end, I think he was living with the president.
Towards the end, Hunter was living with the president. Was he directing the auto pen pardons, of which he received one? Unbelievable. Kevin O'Connor, Annie Tomasini, Liz Warren, Mark Milley, Anthony Bernal, Ron Klain, Jeff Zients, Anita Dunn, and the guy Michael Donlin, who got paid, said he was going to get paid $4 million and did to get Joe Biden elected. Are you out of your mind? No. It is all compiled House Oversight Report. Hook, line, and sinker, they've got a lot of goods, and we're going to dig into this report. You decide who knew what and when, and who cued the cover-up, and how valid are those pardons? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there, folks. Let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Wendy Bell Radio. And I am following her channel. I've given her a thumbs up. Okay, I'm about 30 minutes into this video. So let's jump back here and remind you folks that these videos that I share with you are videos that come directly from the producer. I have the links to the videos. So if this Wendy Bell video, you like that, just scroll down to the description box and click that link. It'll take you right there to that video that I just shared with you, and you can watch more of that if you like. Also, I have the links to the channel. So, for example, on Wendy Bell Radio is the producer of this video. The link to this channel is, if you click on that, it's going to take you right over here to Wendy Bell Radio. This is the video that I shared with you, the last one she dropped. Okay? So, I don't get any commissions or royalties for sharing this information out, but I do get the satisfaction of putting this information together and showing you that there is information out there that you're not going to get on the mainstream media or from the deep state swamp, okay? I do want to share a little bit of information here with you from Rumble Premium Perplexity. Some pretty good stuff. Let's take a listen to this. Just a minute.
Looking for smarter ways to browse and enjoy your favorite content without ads? Get the Perplexity Pro Bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up before December 31st, normally at $29.99 value.
With Rumble Premium, you'll get an ad-free viewing experience across all your devices and access to exclusive premium content, no interruptions, just the videos and streams you love, anytime, anywhere. Plus, Perplexity Pro boosts your productivity with unlimited research, unlimited uploads, exclusive member perks, and access to the latest and most advanced AI models for faster, smarter answers every day.
Save over 30% on this powerful bundle. Head to rumble.com/premium before December 31st to sign up and unlock your premium experience.